player agency is probably the single most core element of this hobby, and it's what really separates it from any other kind of like video game or things like that. Even something as I think they probably did the best job I've ever seen, at least in recent days, is Baldur's Gate 3, but it's still a computer program running the show, and it's not going to be the same. I always like it when somebody takes a philosophical approach to the game, because there's a lot of advice out there that really actually will kind of go against player agency, like the illusion of choice and all these things. Like, oh, you prepared this encounter, just put it behind this door instead. It's fine. You don't have to do it. They won't ever know. And maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. But it does. You can eventually you feel it. And I thought if you're watching this video and you're a player or a DM, this isn't just like a DM topic. Go to youtube.com/@Flutes Loot. Well, at this time, it's probably, I don't know if it's your latest video or if it's one of the latest videos you've released, and I highly recommend watching it. It was fantastic.
As of now, it's my most recent one, other than the stream I just did last night. And so I don't know when this will go up, but yeah, search for player agency on my channel. And there it is.
I just finished watching it maybe 20 minutes ago. And I have to agree, though, I really enjoyed it. One of the things that you mentioned is something that I feel like I tend to struggle with, and that's letting your players fail. Or not necessarily letting your players fail, letting your players get stuck. I feel like that's such a difficult thing for me when you just see them not moving forward. And it's like I have to fix this, but that's not necessarily the case. I feel like you might have said things before about the power of silence. Maybe that kind of like ties in together.
Yeah, I think so. The power of silence is not fearing silence like it's some awkward thing. Like, let people think, and if someone's not paying attention, if the game suddenly goes quiet, they're gonna be like, "Why is everybody quiet?" You know, it's an interesting.
My turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Like every principle has its exception. That's why I call them principles and not rules. But once you master principles, then you know when to break the rule behind the principle, right? And so, should you let your players get stuck? I think the principle is, yeah, I think let them figure things out. But if it's something that you as the DM, like if you weren't clear about something, like definitely clear that up. And it's okay to also interrupt and be like, I love what you all are doing and what you're talking about. You're trying to figure things out. Do you want my help in like remembering anything? Do you have any questions for me that could help you move forward, or do you all want to just keep working it out?
Filling silence is just something that a lot of times people naturally just want to do, because there is an awkward like, hey, let's all just stare at each other. This is fun. It's like, what's going on here? But it is true. Sometimes they're thinking, sometimes they're just processing information. I know a lot of times if I hear even box text that's like 3 sentences long, I'm like, wait, what was all the things that he said? Hold on. Like, I can't tell you how many times Josh says something and I am paying attention, but then I'm like, oh, let me write that down. And I'm awful at writing something down and listening at the same time. Like, I truly suck at it. And then all of a sudden I ask a question and I'm like, he literally just said that, didn't he? Like, but that's just the human element of the game, and I really enjoy that tip.
I think that's a good point of being patient as a DM too. Like a lot of DMs would like their players to take notes, but then they get frustrated when they have to repeat things. I literally, my ears stop working if I'm typing an email or if I'm writing a message.
It's the same for me.
Yeah, like I won't even register someone spoke to me until I put the pencil down, and then my brain's like, hey, like someone was talking to you. And I'm like, wait, did someone say that? You know? And so if there's some note taker in the group and you see that people writing something down, don't be afraid to just stop and let them finish writing it down is what I found. And because either you're going to repeat yourself because you were too afraid to just let it be quiet for a moment, or they will get it the first time because you just let them have that time to write it down and they didn't feel like they were missing something by doing that. So it conditions them that you appreciate them taking notes.
Yeah, and most of our gaming is online these days, so Josh will be like, I'll copy and paste it into the group chat. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I've been trying to get better
It reduces my anxiety so much. I'm like, okay, great. I have everything I'm supposed to.
Not for everything, because I let me say this first. So I won't do it for everything. Like if it's a list of like, here's all the stuff you found, there's no reason for me to not send it to you because I already have a list of that. Yep. But when it's a description of something, I don't love always sending those, because I feel like some of the fun and even this kind of ties in, I think, to something that in your most recent video too, of like, you're going to pick out something as significant that I might not have thought was significant. So if I just send you everything, you have everything. But if I read it to you, you're going to write what's important. And I feel like that almost ties into like the player-driven world building, where players are going to tell you what's important to them. They're going to help you build out the world. So that's I guess where I draw the line when I'm sending things.
Yeah, I think that's a good line. Descriptions, box text are often in the moment and meant to feel a little bit cinematic, and repeating it is jarring, right? In those sorts of cases, I do think it is useful to prompt your players and say, okay, I've got a really cool description for this. Listen up. Like, put your pencils down. Yeah. like just let them know what you're about to dish out and that you just want them to listen. If someone was busy picking out a feat because you just had them level up and they forgot to pick a feat, or someone was picking their spells for the day retroactively, they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll listen to this real quick, because they know that you care and you like bothered to actually prepare it. It's not just like you making it up on the fly. Because that's another thing, is players tend to respect something that's prepared more than something that's improvised. And so if you're reading something off from a book that like you thought it was cool enough to read, or you prepared something, that speaks volumes. And so I think just queuing their attention up can be helpful.
I think it can be easy to feel like, if you're in the DM's chair, to be like, okay, I am performing now. I am the performer and you are my audience, and it is a thing now that we must get correct, or else the whole world and the game will be awful. It's like, you could say, all right, don't worry guys, I'll repeat it if you want me to repeat something. Like, it's fine, you taking notes, I can go slower. Thanks for watching. You can catch the rest of our conversation with Jordan by clicking the video on screen now. You can also find links to his YouTube channel, flutesloot.com, in the description, as well as most likely the pinned comment. And if you have any questions or thoughts about what was said, please let us know in the comment section.